Anyway, going back, Jeff was talking about the slowdown and how hard it is, and I'm shocked at how hard it is to buy a house. I just want to buy a house, any house, a nice 3-bedroom house with, that I can rent out, right? And that's all I want. And you go there, and 24 hours later, it's gone.
Yeah, that's happening.
Yeah, it literally feels like we're in 2003 through 2005. I was in that market. I was a sales manager for KB Home. I kid you not, we were writing deals on the back of cars because if people were going into the model, people were afraid that they were going to take that lot, and people were writing deals so quickly. We'd take them out to the dirt, we'd close them on the deal, on the lot, right? We'd come back, before we even got to the model, people were frantically wanting to put offers together because it was that crazy. And that's the way it was back then. Well, and I hope it is not going to get to that. I mean, it's very hot right now, but I don't want it to ever be that way because we know what happened afterwards.
Right.
And it just, prices were just skyrocketing with no doc loans, with no support, and you could not have a job, but you could buy,
Right, and the problem is it's financially unstable. Eventually it will crash.
Right.
If you do that. But, again, that article, it's done by Case Schiller.
Oh yeah.
Robert Schiller is the expert in house appreciation.
Yeah, excellent.
And they put up this article this morning on it's starting to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
He says it's down to 3%. It was 6 or 7. He's got a great interactive graph in there that we can look at later.
Was that nationwide or was it for Phoenix?
It was nationwide.
Yeah.
He does the top 20 markets, but this was just a general overview. So.
Right.
But he does talk about the different markets, so we can take a look
Yeah.
at that and maybe discuss it later.
So the last time I checked, the Cromford report, which is probably the preeminent data source for Phoenix or for Arizona Realtors, is written by Michael Orr, who used to be the dean of real estate at ASU.
Yeah.
Right, and now I think he moved to Cambridge actually. And
Cambridge?
Yeah, I think he moved to Cambridge from the last time I heard. And his partner runs the company, to my knowledge. But that's a very good report. And last time I checked, it was like 4 to 5% in Phoenix in 2009 appreciation. So some people. So yeah.
Well, okay, so let's pivot back a little bit. Could you hand me that letter, please?
Yep.
I want to make the point that I finally, to buy a house now, you have to have a pre-qualification letter or do some other things. So I finally got pre-qualified yesterday with Quicken Loans with Rocket Mortgage, and it was actually a pretty good process. So I do have this pre-qualification letter now that we can use to make an offer,
Yeah.
or other methods. So
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. We're looking at one property right now in Dreamland Village. It's a restricted 55 and older community. And Jim asked, what's the history of the property? So there's a few different ways we can do that, actually. We can look it up here right on the MLS. And you can see the property history. And this was...
Can you see?
yeah.
This actually just got reduced from 200 to 190 recently.
And it didn't. This is the one that fell through, right? No, it's just the price change, right? But it's been up for a while.
Hold on a second here.
I'm thinking about the other. I'm thinking about the. What's the other one that starts with A and then it fell through? Or you got an offer on it.
Oh. We've looked at so many properties, I forgot. It'll come to me. So this originally, cumulatively, this has been on the market for 10 days. So, yeah, this has not been on that long.
But one of the things is we looked at age restricted in, what's that other place, the
one in 40,
when Tony was
50.
here, your husband?
Yes, like you talked about.
Yeah, the Leisure World.
Leisure World.
But
Sorry.
Leisure World had big
Yeah.
HOAs on it.
Ooh,
These
this one had
Yeah.
zero.
have no HOAs.
Yeah, right. We're talking $250 a month HOA fees, up to $450.
Oh, good.
Huge in certain areas. Another way you can look at just more about the property, you just go over here to Monsoon and you know how to save it up top. So, and that's basically the county tax system, and we can find out a little bit more. So 6224 East and Sonata.
Dreamland is in Mesa.
It is in the northeast Mesa, which is a good area. One of the things we did initially is, between conversations with Jeff and Sherman, who's the property manager, and some other people who are knowledgeable about the Phoenix growth patterns, is where are the growth patterns, and so we want to target those areas specifically. So northeast Mesa is one of them,
Okay.
because they put the freeway in, so you get easier access. It's close in, relatively close in, if you need to go, work or whatever.
Right.
It's got relatively decent schools. Some of East Mesa is all actually in Gilbert schools, which is
Yes.
a plus.
Right.
And so East Mesa is one. Levine is another. I don't know if you know.
Interesting. Yeah. Levine.
Levine's in the path of a lot of development. Those are basically the two areas we've been concentrating on.
I see.
You can see the history of what the deed history of the property, what's happened. You can see it from when it started back in
So it's
'92.
was it built in '92? It was built in
It's 72, no?
Yeah, no, they don't even have tax records for some properties if it goes all the way back to the plat. It doesn't have it in the county assessors. This is just what we've captured since '92.
Yeah, and it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
Yeah. And 1972, obviously a little dated, but it's a 1,500 square foot house, which is a really good rental square footage.
Right.
You can actually look, by the way, Lorraine, I'm also training Lorraine, for those of you that are watching. She's gonna be on my team, and we're happy, we love learning from each other. So you can also look at comps via the tax records and get just a real quick look. And you can see there's quite a bit of activity. This is all within a half-mile radius of the property, subject property being right here. We're looking at 190,000. These are the last sales that have occurred in the area. Square footage being right here. Kind of all over the place.
It's sort of in family. I was trying to look at the square footage versus the price, because, obviously, where is it? I mean, they got some 1,600. The bigger places are a little higher price, which is obvious, but this one is the 1,500, right?
Yeah, 1,500. This is definitely on the lower end, this price.
It's definitely within the comps, and it's on the lower end of the comps.
1,509, three bedroom, 1.5 baths. With no HOA, so if you did the math, you could probably pencil it out what your ROI would be on that.
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet that I use.
And for those that don't understand, ROI, return on investment.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a really sophisticated spreadsheet, plug and chug, plug the numbers in, and you can see what his monthly cash flow is.
Oh, that's
Nice.
sweet, yeah.
So, okay,
I actually think those would hit your numbers. The only question being is, can we rent it out in a 55 and older?
right.
Um,
And now, we had looked at the place on 58th Street, and we actually had Sherman he actually came by in the Rocca house. I don't think he ever went by.
yeah, he did come to Rocca.
But anyway, he did look at it, and Sherman does a lot of single-family home property management, along with you and some too. So his comment on age-restricted properties is that it takes a little longer for them to rent, but it's generally a better, easier tenant.
Yeah.
And they stay longer.
Right, and they stay
Right,
longer.
that's right.
Yeah.
And that's, when it comes to rentals in general, a lot of people say, landlords are like, well, I don't know if I want, a family with children. Well, first of all, you have a lot of fair housing issues around that. You have to advertise to everyone. But those are the best, actually, tenants to have, because usually if there's any repairs or cosmetic issues, but they stay for a while. And turnover with rents is what hurts you.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not adverse to an age-restricted property. I mean, it does limit on the sell side, obviously we're on the buy and rent side. On the sell side, it obviously limits your demographic to who you can sell to.
Sure.
But the whole premise of the Monopoly project is that things are gonna appreciate at whatever rate, we've been talking about. And when you eventually get to sell, you can always sell something if you lower the price.
Yep.
It's the real answer, you know.
Yeah,
People put houses on the market for years and they don't sell because they don't wanna lower the price.
Yeah, that's true.
yep, That's right.
Every asset has a price.
that's right,
A market clearing price, a 30-day price, a 1-day price, and so.
yep,
So I'm not worried about getting out in.
That's good.
Yeah.
yeah. And the one thing is that, you know, when you're buying a property like this, if you're putting 25% down, okay, markets go up and they go down. You know, and you can count on at some point there'll be probably some correction. They go up and down, but as long as you have enough equity in the property and your debt service on the property is low enough, so you actually don't have to take a big loss every month, and you do that through a decent down payment, which is this strategy, because there's two strategies. You can go cash or you can go financing. If you go financing, he's going to put 20% down or more, then you're avoiding PMI,
Right.
right? He's got excellent credit, so you should get a good financial. You should be getting a good rate. And you have the renter paying down the mortgage. The concept of OPM.
That's true.
OPM,
Yes.
other people's money, which Jim gets that concept. So there's a lot of good things happening. It's just about finding a renter at that point. And we haven't seen the property yet.
Right.
We don't know how much repair needs to be done, which has been another challenge. We'll go out and see properties and they're gone, like that day or the next day. So we're actually considering writing an offer sight unseen and then going out to see the property.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem with that.
Okay.
Given the parameters of the project.
Okay.
We're not looking for a house to fall in love with. We're
Sure.
Looking for an investment. Could you go back to the pictures? And I mean, we can tell from the pictures whether
Sure.
it's moving condition
That's
or
it.
not.
It's in good condition.
Yeah, some of them are literally in move-in condition.
It's interesting, the little caulk on the driveway there.
Yeah. So going through the pictures, there's 16 pictures.
Mark Bonds taught me something yesterday. Look at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how to blow it up.
Yes, that was
So you can put a
cool.
slideshow and
Yeah,
so it's got tile, it's generally older style.
yeah, tight kitchen, but
It's like a galley.
yeah,
Yeah, and again, this is all okay for this property because it's being 55 and over, you're not gonna get young children, you're not gonna get a big family in there.
That's
Right.
You're probably gonna be an older couple,
that's right.
and so for that purpose, this is actually ideal.
Yeah, the floor looks nice.
Mhm.
The
actually.
floor does look nice,
Just look at that. It's funny.
yeah.
What is that?
It's a coffee table with like legs. It's pretty funny.
Oh. Yeah, that seems, this is the one with the walk-in bathtub.
Look
Oh,
at that.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with those.
Yeah, so actually that's sort of a plus, I think.
I agree.
It might be a turn
Look
off.
at that.
For a renter, older
Yeah,
renter.
Or they might be like, that's awesome.
yeah.
I like the exterior because there's very low maintenance. It's all rock.
Mhm.
And it's nicely done. It's not, I mean, it's pretty much.
This is
great.
not the house that had all the bars on the windows, is it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Front
that's
I
sort
saw.
of, that sort of bothered me. If you look, it's kind of dark here, but you can see there's bars in all the windows.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Well, and you never know where that came from. Maybe that was an insecure senior citizen that wanted more
Right,
security.
yeah. You know, and obviously when we, in our tours of property, you know, one of the first things you do is look at, does every other house in the neighborhood have bars in the window? If it does, that
Good
means
point.
keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah. Mhm.
But I don't think these areas are not that.
No,
bad.
Brown and Rucker? No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But
That's
that
up by
might,
Red Mountain.
you know, that might be one thing, is tell them to take those off.
That'd be simple.
And that is well, if you gotta repair the damage, it's not so simple,
Yeah,
depending on how they did it.
that's true.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's listed at 190, it's been on the market 10 days. So it's in an age restricted, so it's an interesting property.
And then you also look at the, let's go back to, hold on.
Where are you going?
I want to show him the docks. You can always look here, and typically you can see a disclosure statement right there. So when you
There
put
you
a
go.
listing on the market, you put the SPUDS, the seller's property disclosure, right here. So that way the buyer can take a look at it, you can see, see if there's anything to be alarmed with here.
And I guess for this age of property, you should look at the lead.
You have to.
Asbestos, cause
Yeah.
72 was before they.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you remember what day? that
78, I know
Nice
that from the
job.
federal government.
Nice job, yeah, you know
And
that.
all
right?
parties
You
have
said-
to sign.
All parties have to sign, that's right. There's a disclosure around that, yep. So let's see, I don't, garage side siding, are you aware of any interior problems? Garage side sliding. We have to look at that. Are you aware of any cracks, settling, exterior walls or sliding, driveway?
Mhm.
You can see
Saw
that.
that.
Probably concrete.
Past for wood destroying organisms. Can't really read that. I think so,
Something in
I can't remember.
2011.
Okay. 2011, you're right, I
Mhm.
think 2011. So that would be good to ask if they had a termite treatment, you know? 'Cause typically there's a certificate that's involved with that, and then usually the warranty on those are 5 years. 2004 HVAC system.
It's a long time.
So if you hold a renter for a long time in there, there's a chance you might be getting a new HVAC. Shed, my husband took care of it. What permits for the work required? Property, so there's a shed. Don't know if that's freestanding or it should just be on a slab. Those two you have to always look and see if it's on a slab, because if it's not, then that's termite possibilities too.
Oh, so if it's not on the slide?
Yeah, you don't wanna ever have wood sitting on ground.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there security bars or any other obstructions to door, window openings? Yeah, windows and doors. And this was a single woman, it looks to be on the deed, so maybe she wanted to fortify it, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Nothing there, nothing alarming there, I'm looking for yeses.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's by Falcon Field, so you might have a little bit of air traffic. It's good disclosure there. Wash machine has timing issues. Okay, okay. And there's probably other things in the property that this lady may not even know of,
Right.
so. But overall, I don't see any showstoppers on
No,
there.
no.
And of course, you're right, there's your lead paint disclosure. So you, prior to 78, you guys have that signed by the buyer, so.
And so what did she say?
Basically, anything that's been constructed before 78, you have to have this disclosure of lead-based paint, and the buyer and the seller have to sign it. And she's just saying that she's disclosing to you that yes, there could be lead-based paint in that house that was used.
Right, and typically they say that not because they know it is, but just.
It's required.
It's required by law,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yep. So that's that one. You got that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's Ensenada.
Okay, let's quickly look at the other one, just,
48.
and then make a decision on the two.
Okay.
Now, is this other property also Northeast Mesa?
Levine.
Oh, Levine, that's that second one you're
Now,
talking about.
this is an interesting one. And, you know, Jim made a great comment on this. This one is backing up to what I see as an industrial area. However, it's got, which hospital?
Dignity.
Dignity, right there on that huge property. So I agree with him. I think that at some point that hospital is gonna advance into that area. So check this out. Let me look at the map.
This is the Levine property on 48th Street? 40?
Yeah, 48th Glen. So there you go, it's right there, okay? Now look, it's actually,
And there's the Dignity Hospital.
oh, sorry. Yeah, so let's go satellite.
Oh, yeah, much better.
Squeeze it a little bit here. Interesting, huh? I don't know what it is.
It looks like a construction yard or just
Yeah,
staging area
Is there a buffer between the two?
no,
for, there's a
just a
fence.
block, just a block, the block wall right here.
Yeah.
There's some tree though, some tree, you don't really see this stuff here, but you see this stuff. But Jim's premises, correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but if you look at this whole area, Dignity Health Arizona General Hospital, so they could buy into this.
Yeah, I think that'll all be filled with medical condos eventually.
Plus you got farm here,
Yeah,
Wow.
you look at the whole area.
yeah, and, you know, one of the things you gotta look at vacant lots is homeless people. I don't
Oh.
think that would be an issue in this area, but in Tempe, we have that issue,
Boy, yeah, you would.
so.
So this is been on the market for, what is it, 10 days or something, I remember, maybe more, no, maybe more. Oh yeah, way off, 65 days. Listed on the 24th of February. Property is vacant, easy to show, please email offers, blah, blah, blah.
And this one is, as I remember, it's in move-in condition, but it's on a very small lot, there's basically no yard. Again, which is not a disqualifier for rental, in some ways it's a good thing. You know, that if you.
Less upkeep.
Right, if you have somebody who just wants to have a place to sleep and live and doesn't wanna deal with the hassle of a yard and all that, and they just wanna go to work and, you know, do their thing, then this is
Yeah.
ideal.
Yeah,
This is not in a 55.
no,
Okay.
nope. And I'm very bullish on Levine. I'm very excited and enthusiastic about this community because it's revitalizing. There's a lot of growth. Commercial's starting to go in there. This house is ready to go. It's vacant.
I've got some. That's the side.
Yeah, it's got, yeah, this is the,
But I like the finishes on the front
Mhm.
and elevation looks good.
Color. Curb appeal looks nice.
and it's got tile floors, which is nice.
For a rental.
Yeah, yeah, the kitchen's okay.
Yeah.
It's a two-story.
Correct.
1,600 square feet, built in 2008 versus 1972. Got to factor that in.
So the AC isn't as old.
And other repairs. Nice carpet. I mean, it almost looks brand new. It's hard to tell.
But for a rental, you don't really care.
Yeah.
You're right, you probably want to.
Well, it's gotta be showable.
Yeah. Does look new. 2 bathrooms, 2.5.
This one's got 2.5, 3 bedrooms, 2.5.
That's good.
Or a bedroom, if you make the den a bedroom, it's technically 4 bedrooms.
So you know you can't make that type of bedroom, right? Unless you put the closet.
Yeah, see what I like to do with this one, I like to call the listing agent and ask some questions.
Okay, why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Cause I definitely, I'm sold on this one. I wanna make an offer, depending, of course, getting more information will make the offer even better, you know, our offer better, in the sense of more likely that we would get the property. The other one, I'm sort of shying away from, I don't wanna get involved in the lead paint, and that whole story, and, but let's see, at the right price, obviously, anything works. Do you have a problem with this being on recorded, this conversation? I mean, I can turn it off.
Yeah, just for courtesy for him.
Yeah, because it's not fair to him if you're
Yeah.
him or her on the other side.
What questions do you think you would be asking?
Well, actually, you read my mind. I was gonna ask you, what questions should we ask?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what that's
Yeah.
why I wanted to know.
So, okay, yeah, so these are the questions I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask them, first of all, it looks like it's been on the market for 65 days
Okay.
in a very hot area. We've been watching this area for a while and it's been moving.
Mhm.
Why is this property not moving?
Okay.
And I wanna ask him a lot of questions about the back 40. It's in the back of his house.
Oh, to see if he
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
what's in that.
Because I mean, if I have to, I gotta go to the city and find out what it's plotted at and what the zoning is on it, you know,
Okay.
just what the plans are. Because that's just good due diligence on our part,
Great.
which we can do during the inspection period, and we can back out for any reasons, you know.
During
but,
that
yeah,
inspection period.
as long as we document it, we
Okay.
have to. You just can't walk away, but you have to document it. So, I'm gonna ask him those questions. I'm gonna ask him if he, even though we've done some analysis on the rents, there we kind of know what you can get. I want to see if he has any information about the rents and what percentage of that community is being rented versus not.
Good.
What's going on in the area. Basically, I try to extract as much information as I can,
Okay,
you know, that he's willing to share.
sure.
And a good listing agent will be very forthright. He'll share everything he can. He wants to sell the house.
And you should be knowledgeable about this
And
property.
the last key information is the motivation of the seller.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Yep.
since it's kind of stale now.
Absolutely.
Good question.